Welcome back to the What the Fumble podcast. Miles again. And can I say that Adolescent Colin didn't stand a chance? I honestly didn't expect that big of a power spike in this party at level 3, but I am here for it. Though I will admit, it was very cathartic for all involved to character assassinate one's middle school self. At least, Colin secretly agrees, even if he doesn't admit to it. And now that the trilby-wearing, single-word-saying Colin is dead, I think explaining our older demons is in order. So please, enjoy episode 25, The Lore Before the Storm.
Back again. We made it back. Made it back, guys.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Here we are. Everyone's in one piece. You know, I was wondering, after putting Adolescent Colin in his place so efficiently, too, you guys really fucking mopped the floor with my CR5 vampire.
Yeah.
Right? Like, level 3 is tough.
It really got me wondering, though, if this was real life, who would win in an actual fight around this table in real life?
Oh my lord.
Would we mop the floor with adult Colin as much as we did?
Wait, are you guys all just attacking me? Is this the conversation?
Well, no, I'm curious. If this breaks, at any moment, I feel like this could break out into a full-out brawl.
Like, does Sobe get knives and then Colin has to nibble his spine?
No, it's all, we get our fists and these microphone stands in front of us. No, these are going to hurt, actually. These are sturdy. Just the fists. In a fight of fisticuffs, who comes out on top at this table?
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Full-out brawl. It's like, what's it called in wrestling where it's like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The Royal Rumble.
That's it. Well, yeah. Is it going to Royal Rumble? Because
We are Royal Rumbling.
then
We're Royal Rumbling.
I'm going to be out first.
I watch a lot of wrestling.
Everybody's going to gang up on me. I have a black belt.
Oh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've played enough video games to know that you don't all charge at the best one because you're just giving them more targets to kill.
This isn't League of Legends. Come on.
Hold on a sec. What do you have a black belt in?
Shotoken Karate.
Okay, when did you get fucking finished that? When you were 11? What?
17.
17?
17?
Okay.
When's the last time you, practiced it?
Oh, over 20 years.
When was the last time you practiced martial arts, Sobe?
Yeah.
Also, around... No, I finished even earlier than that. I had, I had the one before black belt in Taekwondo. I had a red belt. But if you ask me to get my fucking foot up above my waist, it's not going to happen.
who also the world ending goes to the gym regularly here.
Fair.
Yeah, true.
But I'm voting Justin would win.
I feel like it might... If I have any advantage, and I'm not convinced I do, but if I do have one, I feel it would be my scrappiness. I'm like a bulldog. You piss me off, and I'm going to rip your throat out.
He's going to jump on the couch and do bicycle kicks.
I feel Colin's got a little of that, too. I feel like if we really cornered Colin, he'd fucking just start swinging, and he's got longer reach than any of us, I think.
He does. He's
that's where I'm
very
scared.
tall. And
I'm giving it to Colin.
Yeah, I would have trouble with Colin. I thought you guys were going to be humble, and I was going to be like, yeah, I don't know if I could win in a fight. But now I feel like, no, I'd beat your asses. You guys are all so confident and cocky about it. Like, all right, wrestle me right now.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Ooh.
All right,
these
move the tables.
D20s
Move the
away.
tables.
All right, so be prepared for me to crawl up on your back.
And in this corner,
Show me what
Session's
you
over.
got.
We'll see you again next week, folks. We're going to go beat the shit out of each other.
Patreon only, $5 if you want to see it.
We'll record for the Patreon. It's a good call, Sobe. Good call.
You're welcome.
can we do something slightly more benign, like actually record us in like those sumo suits or something, or we're actually
No, we're straight up fighting.
Okay, all right. Perfect.
We roll up our sleeves and punch each other till only one person is standing.
God, it almost reminds me back when you and I were kids, Miles, and then Chris and Derek would be like our coaches. And
Yeah, no, David and I as twin brothers, we were cage fighters essentially. Because our older brother would basically, him and his friend would coach us and then throw us in the backyard and beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, boy. Let's get back to something nerdy enough. Let's get back to our roots.
Violence.
Yeah, back to fantasy violence. We're all talking, you're right, Sobe. We're all over here talking shit, but at the end of the day, not a damn one of us could stand up to anyone with actual skill.
It's true.
It would just be a fight between 6 mega nerds.
It would be a beating.
It's anyone's game, I feel, if we actually brawled.
Goes over 15 seconds. We're just going to be winded and give up.
That's it. Let's talk about D&D. Let's get back into this thing. Adolescent Colin destroyed. You guys got yourself a bit of loot. Badass looking Trilby is magical in some nature. You were able to determine that. Super badass. What color was your Trilby, your go-to Trilby? What color was it?
It was a slate gray.
Let's move on.
Pinstripes.
Did you guys think it would go as well as it did? I'd say overall it went pretty fucking well.
I would say I truly was expecting another like Rainer fight.
I was prepared for. It's one of those where I showed up prepared mentally for character death. You know, It was.
I was expecting another Rainer fight. I was expecting another, oh God, people need to run. Oh God, people need to...
Yeah, well, I mean, like a vampire bite, like that's what happened on the Mercy, and that hit for like 17 or 19, just one-shot me.
Bite. Yeah, unfortunately, they have to grapple you first. You have to be grappled or incapacitated or restrained, but if they get that bite off, like it sucks.
Yeah, it's like 2/3 of your health bar minimum.
It sucks. I was pretty nervous myself. I don't mind telling you guys at this point in the game that obviously those cerebral vampires, you know, they're not a standard 5e monster. They're old school. They're in an old school module, Ravenloft module called Bleak House that I took them from. And so clearly I had to do a little bit of homebrew to do my best to even them out, make it so you guys could hopefully handle one at level 3. But I'll be perfectly honest, I wasn't really sure if you could or not. Definitely didn't hold back any punches, but all the dice were in your favor, and it worked out. It really did.
All we have to do is roll high.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no doubt. But Adolescent Colin himself was basically a CR5 vampire spawn stat block. Obviously, the regen worked through alcohol, not radiant magic, and they turn into seagulls, not bats. Some little changes there. There was no max HP from drain from the bite. It was intelligence drain and madness instead to kind of make them fit their old school stat block a little bit more. But it was scary. I really wasn't sure how that was going to go, and I'm sure you figured out too. I mean, the way I kind of see it, Heinfroth is making these things. So in my mind, not all cerebral vampires are created equally. And all the ones you've fought so far have had pretty different stat blocks. Like they've had a very different amount of health at the beginning of the fight. And so far, Adolescent Colin, like, won by a lot. That guy was no joke.
Yeah.
He had over 80 HP.
He was amazing.
It was what a dream boat,
right? Like, but in a platonic way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
He's so cool, though.
If the adolescent versions of ourselves all Royal Rumbled, he would have won. He would have won.
Well,
again, that couch move.
Yeah, you know, I have the special tactics.
How you guys feeling about the loot, though? What do you think of that letter?
Yeah,
BM,
that
MR,
letter.
What's going on there?
We have actual documents written by Heinfroth. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that we actually have like a piece of the puzzle now, as opposed to just, you're here, now you can travel because we have Lustra, we have Van Richten, but we're waiting for him. But we actually have like a physical piece of whatever the heck is going on here. Like, it's very obscure and stuff, but I'm just so happy we have it.
Yeah, no, it's nice to know that we can start actually applying some kind of evidence to the world that we live in. It's not just us flying by the seat of our pants, just trying to survive. We have a direction.
Who is this BM?
BM, MR, some 2 sets of initials in there. Also sounded, it sounds like from the letter that Heinfroth's purpose was to shatter Van Richten's mind enough that Van Richten essentially doesn't function as a mist traveler, kind of, right? Fuck his mind up enough he can't travel the mists and get away, I guess. Or go to go to wherever he was trying to get. Who knows why they've shattered his mind like this, but it sounds like Heinfroth is confident he can't navigate the mists anymore. So that being said, and combined with the fact that he doesn't realize you guys have a talisman.
Maybe even 2 now.
Yeah, maybe 2. You guys might have an advantage here. But it sounds like that's what Heinfroth was doing, fucking up Van Richten's brain enough that he can't travel the mists. But what's going through everyone's mind sitting here? And there's still some loot that this badass Trilby you could attune to. What are you guys thinking? What's going through everyone's minds here?
Well, it doesn't seem like adolescent Colin was sent to find us per se, and like the letter, like it kept with the overconfidence, and they don't think we're going to be able to leave, period. So hopefully they don't have more like seagulls just like searching the waters.
I'm immediately gonna, as soon as this is done and we saw adolescent Colin turn into seagulls, I'd be looking around for more birds.
Yeah, sure. Give me a perception check.
Oh, good. The skill that Stiletto got.
Want to take a quick nap?
Flat 12.
Hey, you don't see any seagulls? Don't see any more?
That's it. We're safe. Everything's good.
Oh, well, thanks, Lenara. That's very thoughtful of you.
I'm kind of thinking more about what Erasmus told us last, and that is that we need to travel the mists. It's going to be a terrible storm. It's going to last a long time. So maybe the next step is trying to figure out what we can do to batten down the hatches to best weather the storm with what little tools we have.
Yeah, I mean, we could potentially make rope ties to the side of the boat, and just when we're headed to the mists, just tie ourselves off. So if we get knocked overboard, at least we're connected to the boat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Merlin needs a life jacket. That head is very buoyant. And
Very
will
true.
carry him far. Yeah.
And let us all make sure we have the method of cutting those ropes if the boat starts to go under.
I think you all do, right? So you can get the ropes hooked up pretty easily, and everyone's got at least a dagger on them, I think.
He's got one hand axe.
Aw. Wow, this Fumbles really hate hand axes.
I lost my hand axe.
Yeah.
Merlin lost a hand axe.
Coming for him. I'm coming for him. Give me them hand axes.
Your orc?
Yeah.
That's 3.
Oh, shit. He had a big old hand axe. Yeah, that's right.
And there's gonna be some crab underneath that's got like a hand axe in its mouth and 2 hand axes in either pincer.
That's right. That poor turtle swimming down there with all his hand axes and chokers.
Or an
around his
octopus
neck.
that's 3/8 ready to rumble.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know. I prefer the concept of a turtle horde.
Oh, God. Yeah. Swarm of turtles.
I don't know. I think it's more telling after reviewing the letter here that not Van Richten, crikey, I was just reading that off the page, that Heinfroth knows we've escaped, and in spite of that, he still said that we still expect the Mercy to show up. So the Mercy's already on its way in spite of Van Richten being gone. So we can assume that the Mercy, in spite of not having its cargo, is likely still en route to wherever it's going.
It was ready to sail, and it could just be sailing for us.
Yeah, it's like, oh, something went wrong, but don't worry, we'll fix the problem and have it along shortly.
They don't need to sleep, eat, breathe. Well, they need to sleep, but they don't, they're not dying anytime soon. They've got nothing but time.
All I'm saying is that we very well could have more adolescent Collins, chasing us down right about now.
Oh, for sure.
Well, hey, at least we took him out. He turned into mist. Hopefully he doesn't have a coffin that he'll like
Yeah, that wasn't
respawn in.
gaseous form mist, was it?
No, you're confident he's dead. I do remember, like, I think the very first one we came across, like, way back on the Mercy, Captain Baker did, they got the coffin out and made a big show of it. And I think even at the time, you guys were like, well, that couldn't have just been pomp and circumstance, right? But there probably was a bit of pomp and circumstance there. Captain Baker saw an opportunity to kind of remind his crew that he is very much in charge and very much a fucking badass.
He really is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there probably was a little pomp and circumstance there. I mean, high-level vampires, you do need to kind of kill them in that fashion. But vampires spawn, the lower-level ones, and typically don't have to do that. So there could have very well been a bit of pomp and circumstance there.
Cool.
But regardless, yeah, you're confident Adolescent Colin's dead. He's
Hooray.
no more.
Excellent.
Trilby's still kicking, though.
I mean, and even barring that, like, it's not just the Mercy that's hunting for us. It's also this mysterious BM. Once again, to just remind the folks at home, the last line of the letter was, I am confident that someone with as many resources as yourself will find them swiftly should it be necessary. So clearly this person is also extremely well equipped. So it's not just the Mercy we're running from.
But he also hasn't received the note.
That's it. They're not looking for us yet. They're expecting a delivery of Van Richten. They don't know about us. Thus our awesome sketches.
True say.
Yeah, the tone of the letter kind of seems like they're undermining us quite a bit here. Like they just assume we're gonna get spit back out by the mists, you know. So they don't know that we have, you know, some talismans on us.
I mean, given our track record, it is probably safe to assume incompetence, though, in their defense.
You guys did determine a little while ago, too, a little bit back, that I think it was Erasmus' suspicion was that, yeah, Heinfroth really legitimately does not think you have a mist talisman and therefore just really doesn't think you can leave. So there's no rush to come scoop you up. In his mind, you're not fucking going anywhere.
Yeah, we're just rats in a cage, and they're like, oh, wow, they're on the left side of the cage now. Whoop-de-doo.
He's gonna finish his beauty sleep and he'll get to you eventually.
Yeah.
Goldfish in a bag.
Yep.
But on the note of that, we mentioned Lustra. Do you think any of these is another talisman?
I mean, it's the beginning of a new day, so I should be able to do my whole detect talisman trick.
I'm so glad you brought this up. Here's an interesting thing, Lustra. Here's an interesting thing I was thinking about. I was reading your ability. Says you can detect the closest mist talisman within a mile. The closest mist talisman within a mile.
You're right.
Not all mist talismans, but the closest one within a mile. You always wear your rosary right there on your head.
Yeah, I do.
So it will almost always be this rosary unless you take your... I mean, you don't love any item as much as this, I don't think.
His boots.
The only way for you to detect another one would be to hand this off to somebody, or you could put it in the bag of holding that you so fucking hate.
Fuck me. Oh, no.
Which I think is just the most beautiful thing ever. It is the most beautiful thing.
Oh, no.
If I may, for the moment, might I be able to hold it for you, and if anything, just go to the edge of the boat. You do your thing, and I shall come back.
Oh, man.
Yeah, if you held, if you like gathered up all the other items you're curious about and had them closer to you than the rosary that you'd be handing off to Lenara here, then you'd detect. Or you could put it in the bag of holding, which is a completely different plane of existence.
Can't wait for the bagman to come out wearing that thing like it's a
No, I ain't putting that in the bag of
frickin'
holding.
blade.
No, fuck that.
clock like in a rap video.
Oh, jeez. What a... I've pigeonholed myself real good
It's
with
a
this
beautiful
one.
thing. It's a beautiful thing.
That's great.
I feel like the time's going to come, too, where right now, sure, you can bring these items closer to you and Lenara could walk away a few feet. But what if you're trying to determine if like something half a mile away is a mist talisman? Like she can't carry the rosary that far. That's going in the fucking bag of holding someday, man. That rosary's going in this bag of holding someday.
Oh, jeez.
And the torment
fine.
is just going to make you smile
love
from
it.
ear to ear.
But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but the irony of the situation is just a beautiful thing, and I had to mention it. But please continue. Where are you going with that? You want to take your rosary off, put it in the bag? Is that where you're going?
No, I'm not putting it in the bag. Yes, I will hand it off to Lenara, and Lenara could go to the opposite end of the boat. Because
I know you have trouble with it. I could lead you in some guided meditation to maybe make it work this time. The glowy bit.
That totally happened yesterday.
it did happen.
Yes, definitely it did.
You're the one who can see it, so pretty believable that you'd be crazy. But what are you thinking as you hand your rosary off to Lenara? How does this feel? Have you ever handed this off to anybody?
No. But the thing is, it's weird because it's like I have the normal vibe of like, I don't want to do this, but then I also love everybody as a madness. So it's kind of like I've got self-imposed fears that are natural to Lustra. Then I have the madness given to me that kind of fights with those. So it's like the headspace I'm in, there's so much cognitive dissonance. It's like, holy crap.
I love it.
She takes your scaly hand, goes to start, rubbing it soothingly, and then stops because it's scaly and pointing. She goes, Lustra, I will guard this with so much honor. After all, we are all Venari.
Boom! That's enough. Yep.
That's enough.
That's enough. You're the first one to actually admit something like that. So yeah, that's enough. That's enough trust for Lustra. So yeah, I think with that kind of coaxing, Lustra will, hand it off. We'll always keep an eye on it, kind of, sort of, because it's like, that's important. Go to the other side of the boat with all the items that we got off of Adolescent Colin.
Yeah. So kind of the items you have that are, I guess, kind of in question for you. There's the letter itself. Maybe who knows? Maybe that'll register. Mm-hmm. There were 2 vials of spinal fluid. There was that tiny urn on a gold chain. There was a glass eye with a live worm inside of it. And there's the trilby too, but it was magical, so you're confident that's not a mist talisman because it's registering as magic. But knowing that only the closest, if all of these were mist talismans, you'd only know about the one literally closest to you, right? So do you want a particular item closer to you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spinal fluid mist talismans.
I get a strong feeling that the eye is probably going to be a mist talisman.
Okay.
So I'll have that closest to me. And then I'll probably have the necklace beyond that.
Okay.
So I'll almost set it up almost in like a line kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it'd be the eye, the necklace, then I don't think the letter's going to be nor the vials.
Well, I mean, may as well just have them around.
Yeah, have them around. So yeah, I'll put the letter, then the vials, then anything else after that.
Sure.
And have Lenara at the opposite end of the boat. And I'm going to sit down, focus, and do my whole...
Put the 25 gold pieces in a progressive line.
And I'll sit back and do my detect talisman thing.
Okay. And sure enough, the mist talisman closest to you within a mile starts to glow. And that mist talisman is that tiny urn on a gold chain.
Oh.
Glad I did not bet on the eyeball.
So I go and point to the urn and say, that thing's glowing to me. That's another talisman.
Oh, great.
That's kind of a cool little effect, though, because let's say the letter's a talisman too, I wouldn't know. You wouldn't know, and there's no real way for you to determine until tomorrow, right?
Yeah. The only thing we've determined is that the glass eye is not one, and that
that's
the urn
true. We
is
have
one.
determined that. That's a good point. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of it like that, but that's true.
And the eyeball's not magic, and it's just got a worm in it.
Live worm.
Yeah, maybe it's just his little pet.
Is there a name on it?
Nope.
Okay, so
Dimitri?
Dimitri.
Dimitri the worm.
That works.
all right. So after that, I would kindly ask for my rosary back.
We're not
Oh,
done
yes.
playing horseshoes.
Give you your rosary before any anxiety sets in.
Yeah, and
Whoops, fumbled that 50 feet off the boat. Whoa.
oh jeez.
Just, yeah, throw that into the ocean and 1d10 distance away.
Wait, didn't we pull a fumble a long time ago where a random item on your character sheet breaks?
Yep.
Could we imagine if that was my rosary?
It's determined by the DM, so
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So it's very likely.
100% crit rate.
Oh, geez. So yeah, after that, I would point it out to the rest of the crew that this is, from what my eyes can determine, and senses can determine, that this urn on this necklace is in fact another talisman.
very cool.
And I don't know how any of these talismans exactly work. And I'm not sure. We know that the one that my rosary will lead to Darkon, I believe. Not sure where within Darkon, and I'm not even sure how to harness it.
I mean, this is the one connected to your father.
Yeah.
And Erasmus said to hold on to it and never turn back?
Erasmus was saying that there will be a god-awful storm. It will last a very long time, probably on the span of days. And we just gotta hold it out. I think I've got to focus on that talisman in some way, shape, or form.
He said, stay close together, keep the talisman close, and focus on the word Darkon. Keep the word Darkon in your minds at all times and do not stop moving. That's essentially what he said.
Well, I guess even though we know this one is a talisman now, or we don't know where it goes. It would be taking him to wherever this benefactor is, but if we don't know where that is.
Yeah, so we can't chant that name in our heads to figure out where it goes, because we need to, keep the idea of where it's going in mind to help focus through the mists, maybe?
I'm wondering if perhaps the mist talisman is a kind of fuel less than a vehicle for a direction. Therein, it doesn't matter what kind of mist talisman we use. If we are constantly thinking Darkon, we will go to Darkon. If we are thinking Dominia, we will go to Dominia, regardless of the talisman.
That is certainly a gamble,
Well,
because if not, we'll just be stuck in a storm.
And we also have to remember, I don't know about any of you guys, but I know next to nothing about the domains of dread. So we can't even we can't go to a place where we don't know what it is. All we know is that Darkon is another place that we can go. So that's the only place that is available to us, unless any of you guys know of a different plane of existence within the domains of dread for us to even attempt to go, and why would we even go there to begin with?
Is there anything else you remember about your father? Something he might have said, something he kept close to him?
I mean, well, a lot of it was just him just showing me around Chult and learning to hunt and stuff, but this whole traveling the plains and stuff, he didn't really talk about that kind of stuff.
That's a good point. Like, if from, it's probably worth talking about. I know we kind of did a bit of a loose sort of like backstory dump a few weeks ago there, and you kind of got into a little bit of the history of your clan, Clan Ostium.
Correct.
Who basically is like a clan of Dragonborn who hold very high respect for keeping the plains separated, I suppose. It's a belief that runs deep in their tribe. Mm-hmm. And you had said that, almost kind of a coming of age sort of thing is to go out there into the world and almost like give back to the tribe in a way to somehow strengthen or protect the planes from each other, strengthening the bonds that keep them apart, almost kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But for most Dragonborn in your tribe, that equates to like, I don't know, maybe a little lesser air elemental crossed over and blew someone's front door open, and so you guys go deal with it, and you've done your service to the planes. Mm-hmm. It was never supposed to be this.
Yeah.
And like Lustra didn't grow up knowing this would happen. I mean,
Welcome to the apocalypse world.
The whole tribe has a profound respect for protecting the plains, but it's not like you saw this coming. This is a little different.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like that's actually exactly right. Like I was going out expecting to, maybe run into one creature of some, diminutive status of like, oh, you shouldn't be here. Kill it. Hey.
Right. Yay, we did it. We protected the plains. I mean, I'm guessing like when the veterans of Clan Ostium sit around the campfire, they tell tales, like that. It's like, oh, there's that time a lesser fire elemental came through and he was burning down a field of hay and we stopped it. And but they're not.
There was much rejoicing and popcorn.
Exactly.
Instead, we got a novice boxer whose first fight seems to be Mike Tyson.
That's actually an apt way to put it. Yeah.
So you've probably already been through more than most anyone from your clan has been through. So unfortunately, no, you didn't you didn't grow up being told of all this stuff. This is way out of Lustra's league here. Mm-hmm.
Well, even then, even when it comes to apparently the notoriety that my father has, like, I didn't hear that from any of the other tribe members either. I didn't hear that from my mother. I didn't hear that from anybody. So all this stuff about mistraveling, which is a huge thing in of itself, he kept it from the clan in its entirety. So, because something like that would be only revered in my mind, because that's something incredible, especially for the clan and what we stand for. But and he holds on to it, these secrets, like I'm just as much as lost as you are.
What a good point. Why didn't he come back home bragging? That's a good point. A very, very good point. Why don't you take inspiration for bringing it up?
Already have it.
All right, fuck you then. I don't like your story at all.
Yeah, so it's like, something with what he did to travel these mists, I don't know. I don't. I have to talk to him. I have to find him.
Perhaps it's why you don't ask veterans of war if they ever killed anybody. They've seen things that they don't want to relive, and they don't want to burden you with.
I mean, I wouldn't want to relive what we went through on Dominia.
I must admit, even in my own culture, there are certain things that are not talked about or discussed that I found it necessary to seek out for myself. Of course, this brought along other friends of mine, and he gestures broadly to himself.
He's talking about me, guys.
I lift up Solash's shirt and look at where a tramp stamp would be. Galas?
Slash sort of shuffles away briefly. But perhaps part of the reason why he never spoke of it is strictly because the only way to have a genuine experience is to seek it yourself.
Maybe. Getting deep.
I mean, that's kind of why I had to go to begin with, I guess. That makes sense. That tracks.
He didn't want to spoil the fun of almost getting killed. Is that it?
Way funner to discover on your own.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't expect to be tossed into the deepest, darkest depths of all of this.
Of course not. Who could have expected that?
Yeah.
Who could have? I think we've learned some pretty fucking... This boat ride has been something. We've learned a lot about a lot of backstories here. Lustra backstory, I think, is just awesome. You now know your dad's like one of these mist travelers, really good at it, according to Erasmus, right? Could see talismans. Now you apparently have inherited that, or maybe the mists and the domains of dread have woken it up in you. Who knows? Sit here and ponder the why as much as you want. I don't think any amount of conversing is going to give you a solid answer. It's a cool little backstory, though. I love that about Lustra Venari. I love that you can see mist talismans. It's a cool little mechanic. But like everybody else on this boat, I mean, Dominia, if everything goes according to plan, hopefully you guys are less than a day from reaching the mists. But how's Dominia changed everybody? How's it changed Lustra so far? I feel like we should recap one more time what the scars that island left on everybody. You're still finally got over the I think I just drank a healing potion thing.
Yay!
But you're still dealing with how much stress?
I only have 1 point of stress.
Down to 1 point of stress. But
I do have the madness of I love everybody.
That's it.
And mechanically, if I roll a 10 or lower on a percentile dice, then I can only do 1 damage to said enemy. I also have a -2 on AoE effects, and someone next to me would have a +2 to AoE because I take the hit for
You'll
them.
jump in the way of that fireball.
Yeah. So, but that's the only madness that I have right now.
Still a pretty jarring effect on your mind. We haven't had a number 10 or lower. You haven't hit that in combat yet.
We haven't seen
Thank God.
or the jumping in front of somebody, which is going to be great to role play.
It's true.
Especially when he's equal distance between 2 characters.
Yeah.
How do I choose?
I really hope that happens. Yeah, we'll find out who he loves the most, and it'll be great.
It'll be great when it's Slash.
I will be impressed for you to
Great.
bring your reputation back up from that hole it's in.
We learned all kinds of stuff about Lustra and his backstory very recently on this boat ride. Very revealing boat ride. We also know now that little voice who we've named Gloss is he's a tattoo.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like there's a symbiotic relationship going on, but originally the ink from a book, according to this tattoo, which is pretty cool revelation as well, I think.
Forbidden book from a forbidden library.
Yeah. And
That
he's
sounds
the
good.
ink from it.
Not evil at all.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, it is still nice to at least have some detail about what's going on there. Now, not everything is in the dark. So we learned a little about Slash backstory, and you've still got your fear hasn't really come into play either. You've got that thing where if someone tries to tie you up, you go nuts, but that really hasn't come into play either.
Yeah, which all things
Would it when we're
considered-
tethering ourselves to the boat later?
Yeah, that might.
That might, and something that's also worth mentioning. I think it's losing an arm is definitely a traumatic experience.
Oh, this is definitely my next thing on the list. Definitely.
Losing an arm is not just something you shake off the next morning, magic prosthetic or
No,
not.
yeah. Luckily, you got that prosthetic and still have the use of an arm, but it's not really your arm. It's not this. You don't have the same arm you had when you got on this
and I think
island.
Slash, personally speaking, Slash can, reason and philosophize away as much as he wants about, his body being weak among all these other things, but it's still his damn body. He's still going to have those innate reactions. And
Yeah, for sure.
I think he really had a big test in hubris and in humility in some degree compared to what he was originally on the Blue Dolphin all those episodes ago.
Yeah, no doubt. Probably a little bit of a realization that, quite frankly, you needed these people around you. I don't know that you'd be here without them right now. Whether Slash likes to admit that or not, it's the cold, hard truth.
He can't do it on his own.
He can't. He sure can't. You're dealing with 2 stress, is that right?
I am. That's down from 3.
Down from moving in the right direction.
I
moving
am.
in the right direction.
Slash has definitely been the most stressed out of everybody so far, and it's difficult to keep up this style of interaction with people.
Yeah, no doubt.
Even though he's good with his words, it's not any less exhausting.
Slash definitely came away with his share of scars as well.
Oh yeah,
He has talked shit and he has got hit.
multiple times.
Fucked around
Everybody.
and found out.
We also got on this journey, this boat ride, got a little Tess backstory. That was fun too. Found out that just 50 years ago, she was enjoying life with Simon, this man she fully intended to marry. Then he goes off to war. A few years later, all the soldiers return from war. Simon does not. And Tess waits for decades and waits and waits and waits for 50 years. They get reunited. He tells her he was in the Domains of Dread, saved by this Van Richten fella. But more importantly, Tess brought to the table the knowledge that die here in the Domains of Dread, even for just a moment, and all ties to other afterlives are severed. Your soul becomes one with the mists, and there's no going back from that. So pretty big bomb that got dropped by Tess there. Luckily, you didn't really, you made it out of the treatments, Hindfroth's treatments all right, though, right? You don't have anything else going on aside from that,
Yeah,
really.
just been condescended to, but I built up a tolerance already.
Getting a lot of practice in.
Yeah.
You're one stress, is that right?
One stress, yeah.
Could be a lot worse.
She's also a lot less cheery and chipper than she was on the Blue Dolphin. It's been a lot all at once.
Has been a lot. Everybody has, I don't know if literally everybody, but you're not the only one who was staring at death for a while. You personally have stared at death more than once since we've been here, and it's and you're not the only one either. And so knowing the repercussions of dying here sucks. It makes it a lot weightier.
Yeah, it makes you second guess everything.
It does. Dying here is not a fun experience. Got a little bit of Merlin backstory in there too on this boat ride, right?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Scratch the surface a little bit. We know Merlin's been kicked out of the house right before 18th birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
And
His dad's like a big shot merchant who really wants him to like do something with his life.
How old is Merlin? How many years were spent fighting homeless people on the streets of Schultz?
Oh god, so many homeless fights. Well, Merlin is 20 now, and he got kicked out right before 18.
That's about 2 years of fending for yourself on the streets.
Roughing it, as they say. Yeah.
That's a pretty big lifestyle change if Merlin is being honest about everything here, right? Goes from having all the riches in the world, a massive, basically fighting over this huge inheritance with his brother. Goes from that to homelessness in Schult.
It's very true. Yeah, I know.
Pretty big change of pace. And then to the Domains of Dread after that.
Just craziness. Like, having to, fight a homeless guy for your next meal, and then, finding out that there's like other dimensions, planes of existence. Might as well have been abducted by aliens.
Pretty mind-blowing. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Pretty mind-blowing. So we scratched the surface of that Merlin backstory. It is one I cannot wait to dig deeper into someday.
Yep.
You left the island a drunk.
Honestly,
A smarter drunk.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plays a lot of bar trivia, clearly.
Yeah.
Oscar Mild.
Arrived at the island a drunk, but my statement's still true. You are leaving as a drunk, right? It's
all like on the surface, like not so bad. A little smarter. Yeah. Now I'm kind of a drunk, but that was going to be hereditary anyway. Like that side of the family. Yeah, that was going to kick in at some point from the death side of the family.
You're dealing
so
with,
overall, we're
That's
good.
why the will's
worked out.
coming up pretty fast.
you're dealing with one stress as well, right?
Yeah.
I think everyone's at one except Salash is at two, if that's correct.
And Lenara, who's
Lenara,
fine.
oh, that's right.
Yep.
Lenara is fine, but Stiletto has stress tucked away somewhere in that
Being locked in her mind palace for like 6 days now is
repressed
probably
personality.
3, maybe 4.
Days since that?
the
Yeah, just
split.
3. I think it's 3.
I just like exaggerating.
But I think, I was thinking we've only known each other for about a week. We didn't do too much,
Yeah, not that much
Chatting on the
time
boat.
has
mostly
passed.
for, mechanically story reasons, but I think we all seem to have our own reason to not talk until a married couple was about to die.
Right? Poor Beth and Peter. Remember Beth and Peter? Those wedding vows.
Who were
Slash
those
still has them.
guys?
You know what's interesting, though, is that I don't know if we put enough weight on it, but Tess is recovering. Tess is like very, I guess they weren't technically married, so not technically a widow. My point is, Simon died like weeks ago.
Yeah, like less than a month.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is something that I don't think you guys know per se, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Very
realize
recent.
it was
Yeah, I
that
mean, I think,
close.
probably at this point, you've probably started to kind of suspect, maybe do the math in your head, but yeah,
That's like yesterday for an elf.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty much.
Right? And that's the other
This
problem
morning.
as well,
Yeah.
is that elves have a very different aspect of time. Like even Tess has even said, "Oh, I think I'll spend 50 years in Waterdeep." Like,
yeah, no doubt.
it's hard for, I think, the rest of us to sort of, recognize time dilation.
Simon died less than a month ago.
Hey, I lived twice as long as you three. I'm going to dance on your graves.
So that being known now, though, how much of a dick move was it from Gloss to be like, your emotions are a bit too much?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucking dick move.
what an asshole.
I mean, there was
That's fair.
no one could control what he said, though. so-
Why do you look so proud?
I didn't realize it till like a week after the words came out of my mouth.
Oh, man.
In retrospect, knowing that, yeah, he was like, Simon died less than a month ago, and less than a week ago, you got this fucking tattoo telling you to chill the fuck out, pretty much. What a dick. What a dick.
Oh, man.
So she's got her share of, the scars didn't manifest the same way from the treatments, but Tess is still leaving here, not in the happiest of moods, not the best of spirits.
She needs to chill, is what we're saying.
Right. You just
Yeah.
calm down over there. It's so dramatic. Lenara, too. Lenara Stiletto.
She's of two minds about this, that's for sure.
Got barely scratched the surface of Lenara here, too, right? We do know she was kind of taught to use her skills by Van Richten, maybe hone her skills. We've learned that. We've learned she spent a few months under his tutelage. We've learned she was sent off to Cholt to retrieve what's it called? An Almirage horn?
Almirage
That's what
horn,
it was,
yeah.
right? Yeah. We know she's a sorceress who, and sorceresses and sorcerers, their magic doesn't come from books or anything like that. It's a natural ability. It comes from within them. But
That's about it.
Sorry?
That's about it, really. That's what we know. Sorry.
Yeah, that's about all we really know. We've hardly really scratched the surface of the Lenara story. But I feel like, despite the deep respect that she has for Van Richten, she now knows, after Merlin's outburst a few weeks ago, she now knows there's other people on this boat that don't share those feelings towards Van Richten that she's got, right? Like, I know she cares about him a lot, but Merlin just a few weeks ago was like, yo, I mean, in game, it was literally yesterday, I think. Merlin's like, hey, I'm not fucking dying for this guy. Like, if we got to leave this guy back to get out of here, that's what we're doing. Fuck this guy.
I don't know Gramps anything.
Yeah, no doubt. You've never met this guy. You've never heard the name before you got here.
Van who?
Exactly. So, with the myths not far off, if everything goes according to plan, you're going to hit them by the end of today. You're going to hit them before nightfall, you think. Erasmus told you guys, when you hit them, it's going to be fucking bad. You need to stay together. You got to be focused. What's going through Lenara's mind, I think? Something bad's coming. You care about Van Richten and you want to keep him alive. But with all this, and there's other people on the boat doubting. What's going on with Lenara? Talk to me about some Lenara feelings.
All right.
Because I know they're in there.
Okay.
I know they're in there.
That's it. Before I roll the stiletto and they all go away. She's like, yeah, fuck this old man. So I would think just throughout the day as we're sailing, she'd be attending to Van Richten, making sure he's not he's in as best a condition he can be in for a high fever and a broken mind. It's a tiny little boat, and everybody's probably taking their turns steering it and such. And I don't know if there would have been a little side eye or something, but at some point she probably would have made eye contact with Merlin. And the boat's small enough that everybody can hear this, I'm sure. Even if Merlin puts his fingers in his ears and goes, la 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 la.
It's one of the unfortunate things about a boat this size is good luck hiding conversations.
That's it. Cutscene time. So no interrupting, Slash.
Okay,
Slash.
And Tess.
and Colossus.
And Klaus. He's cool. He does good color commentary. And she just looks at him and, says this as she's tending to Van Richten's fever. You are not the only one with a rich father who cares little for tossing their child to the side. At least he interacts with you instead of seeing you as just another item in his collection. Doll to be put on display. She glances at Tess. My mother was a wood elf. She left when I was young. A few years for an elf is like a fling on a week-long vacation for a human. So father gave me tutors. Set me to the best dance academy in Waterdeep. It was the best because our matron would abuse us if our forms were not perfect, or if we spoke up against her in class. We were given just enough potion of healing to hide the bruises, yet the pain still remained. She couldn't have her little dolls looking battered now, could she? I too have followed the proverbial path laid out for me, till one fateful night when we were celebrating the end of a run of shows. There were talks of my potential for a role of prima donna in the next one. Life itself was like a dance routine. Everything laid out. Just follow the steps. How fortunate my change of faith was that we drank in the yawning portal that night to celebrate. I'd never felt that sort of energy in my life. Men and women of great power. You could feel the divine radiance pouring out of a cleric, feasting with friends. A calm serenity from a supping druid. And even if I had my hands clenched around it, I'm sure half a dozen rogues could have snatched my coin purse with ease. The proprietor even helped some adventurers slay a troll with nary a stop in business. I thought it was these wonderful feelings, or perhaps an ale or 5 too many, but I felt lightheaded and found myself retiring to my room there sooner than I would have liked to at the party. It was that night that changed my path forever. Not sure if I slept, hallucinated, dreamt, I know not. I only know that in my fugue that I saw an incredibly painful, intense light, with shifting colors, more than 100 rainbows dancing. This prismatic display was coming from a sphere almost twice my height, its surface awash with scintillating brilliance. And she's just staring off into the middle distance now. Tendrils of lightning darted around it wildly before disappearing in an instant. It felt like forever, and yet only a moment that I stared at this object. But that time I felt there was a presence in there, and it acknowledged me as well. I know little more about it, besides that its aura seemed more benevolent than malicious. Yet with a start, sometime later I awoke, shaken and dripping with sweat. The patrons that stirred that morning all seemed to have had disturbed sleep as well, but none had the same dream as I. As I went to gather some breakfast downstairs, be it fate or a chance encounter, I met a man who changed my life. The dream had awakened a power within me, one that unfortunately shocked him as we were reaching for the same baked good. Sorry, miss. You may have that scone, she says, doing her best Van Richten impression. Chuckles to herself a little bit, clears her throat. Yet I could see that the lightning that jumped from my hand had hurt his. So I gave him the scone and held his hand at the same time, said that he should take it. As if, from the other hand, that magic healed him as well. I do not know if he planned this meeting, or if it was chance. But seeing my awakened magical talents, we immediately made moves to replace my private tutoring sessions with his lessons. It was only a semester's worth of learning, but the knowledge imparted from that man was worth a lifetime at any university. Even though I could have easily bought an Almirage horn from the markets in Waterdeep, he insisted I personally go to Chult to get this one. She pulls that out of her pouch as she plays with it in her hand absent-mindedly. I do not know if it was a lesson or he just wanted to enjoy some sabbatical. He had walked so many paths and touched so many lives. He brought Simon back to Tess. And he helped Lamin Venari escape these mists as well. So where you might see a frail old man, what I see is a tarnished blade that needs to be retempered. What we went through, collectively in one night, he was subject to for days on end. And yet he still pushes himself to the edge of exhaustion. This man is the greatest asset you could have to getting out of the domains of dread. And we all need to get him back into good health.
Heavy. All right. Well, Merlin's going to definitely finish his drink.
All right, mark that off.
How does Merlin react to that? It's hard to not notice that a lot of that was probably directed towards you, being that you're the one who was so vocally announced less than 24 hours ago that if we got to say fuck this guy, then fuck this guy. Right. Can't help but feel like a lot of that was directed towards you.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I think Merlin would definitely drop his guard here a little bit. Kind of understand, that this guy means a lot more than what he would have thought previously. Lenara, I apologize for, being so cold, and clearly he means way more to you than he does to me, and I can respect that. However, I still got to stick with my guns here. I meant what I said. I got to prioritize my life over his. It's just the way it goes.
You're the
I'm sure you can understand that.
You're the son of a merchant, and you don't understand the concept of investment?
Listen, we've invested in him. He's with us now. And he's gotten us this far, and for that I'm thankful. But all I'm saying is that if I have to choose between me or him, and it's not easy, but I think I have to choose myself. You must understand that.
Let us make sure that we don't make that choice.
Slash leans in. What would make you choose him?
Nothing. This is the point I'm trying to make. Look, if it's, I don't know. I don't like dealing with hypotheticals because it makes Merlin's lemon head hurt. All right, but if it came.
Anytime he goes into third person, it's rough.
That's the craziness because he hasn't had enough booze.
That's it.
He starts talking in the third person. That's when you know he's got withdrawals.
Give me a gin and maybe I can work it out. But till then, all I know is that I gotta come first. I have to get back. I gotta get back to do what I was supposed to do. I can't die here. Literally nothing happens if I die here. I don't get to go to heaven or hell or, wherever people go when they die. But all we know is that nothing happens when you die here. Just kind of stuck.
I will say this on behalf of that man and myself as well. I will be the last person stepping out of these mists if we have the chance. Merlin, if you want to count yourself first, let it be, and I will gladly pave the way for you. But so will he. And if you think we're decently powerful now, you should see this man in his right mind.
Well, till he finds his glasses, I'm just going to have to assume that he's, just some weight. But that's okay. We can carry him for now.
That's it. If you're willing to carry him for now, I will make sure he's of value to you.
You know what? Agreed. I think that night I was speaking out of emotion. Clearly, tensions are very high. All I'm saying is that we're going to work together and get out of this. And I don't think we're going to come down to a situation where I have to choose. But you know where I stand if I do have to make that choice.
And I will not hold it against you. It's nice to hear honesty. In fact, even Salash, your recent exposure of your friend has been quite uplifting of sort of the air that's been hanging over this group as a whole. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. I do think I prefer him to you. That is not. He is rather charming. But no, in all seriousness, I do not have as much to go back to. The only person I would probably go back to is right here with me. Regardless of however the next leg of our journey goes, I know I can speak for him and myself when saying we will do everything in our power to get every one of you back home.
Man. Oh, man. Oh, man. I fucking love this game. I love this fucking game so much. You two take inspiration for that back and forth. Adam and Sobes. Inspiration. That was emotional. That was emotional. I really appreciate. Well, it's like Lenore just said. At least I appreciate that Merlin stuck to his guns. It was just the cold-hearted truth. It's like, I don't care how much you love this guy. I'm not dying for him. And I appreciate you guys reaching understanding. And it's good. That was good. That made me. Fuck, I love D&D sometimes.
Effectively, it's I don't care where you stand. I want to know what you want.
Yeah.
No, wait. I want to know what you want and where you stand. That's fine. I said the same thing twice. Yay!
But at least it's out in the open, and there's a mutual respect there now. But yeah, what's Lustra, Tess, Salat, anybody? What's everyone thinking?
I mean, when it comes to Lustra, I mean, and the idea of like even back with Lustra-led therapy a few episodes back. You know, what are you good at? What is your vocation? What is your thing? Right? That's something very important to all Dragonborn, and seeing Lenara stick to her guns and seeing Merlin stick to his guns and willing to, die on these hills for their own perspective beliefs is something very important to Lustra. And the fact that they can come to an understanding and respect each other for it in spite of their differences only shows in the madness of Lustra that this is a strong clan. So if anything, the fact that a final understanding was reached, it actually kind of gives him hope that, yeah, we can overcome the next step. So he actually feels hopeful in that little squabble.
I dig it. You've chosen some good souls to name Venari, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely a brownie points earned from actually, working shit out, but standing by your guns.
Yeah.
But working shit out.
Tess, you want to weigh in on that?
Do I?
Did you also realize like how much of an asshole Galos was being?
Oh yeah.
Wait, I mean, well, specifically why though? I mean, I know that you realized he was being a jerk, but personally, I didn't really put two and two together until afterwards. I really didn't. Like, I thought about it later the week that whatever session that was a while ago at this point. But lose the love of your life, and a few days later you got a fucking tattoo telling you to calm the fuck down, chill out, you know.
Makes you a liability. I think we should just leave you behind.
Your emotions are getting us all killed.
I reiterate, why do you look so proud?
Sometimes it just all works out, Adam. I don't know what to tell you.
Legitimately, though, when has ever the phrase "you just need to calm down" ever fucking worked?
That's a really good point. It's never a nice thing to say, really. That's a really good point.
I wasn't looking at it that way. Thank you very much.
Oh, well. Deep breaths. Excellent. Yeah. As far as that Galos bit, that whole thing has been Tess's subtext for the entirety of the campaign. Like, she experienced loss and went on a trip of self-discovery, and this is the self that she's discovering right now. And she might not have madness written down on her character sheet, but she's been better.
It's probably taken everything to fucking keep it together, though, in all honesty. It was a hell of a situation to be torn. I mean, I like to think she probably got on this Blue Dolphin, the very beginning, you know, the boat that was headed to Waterdeep. Probably got on there a little bit to, like, help herself maybe get over something. You start the healing process.
Exactly, to, like, distance herself from where she spent her entire life, either with or without him. But
right?
Yeah. Like,
and we talk about Merlin being super fucking unlucky, but man, you've been dealt a pretty shit hand of cards too.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's still very young for an elf.
It's true.
Like, she hasn't even really had the chance to gain her adult name yet.
How old is she?
She is 73.
In elf terms,
like,
it's still, she's a teenager essentially.
Like, elves live to what, like 500 or something like that?
750-ish, I think.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so she is still just coming into her blossom, or whatever.
Not even a spring chicken. She's an egg.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But yeah, with all of that in her mind, just looking at Lenara speaking just so passionately in defense of Van Richten, and Merlin just having his own sort of outlook on this whole experience, I think Tess would go over to Lenara and say, "That was very brave of you to speak up like that in defense of Van Richten. I mean, I knew there was something weighing on you, something that made Stiletto necessary, but I didn't know you grew up like that. There's tragedy in everything, I think, that we have all been through. I'm sorry you were abandoned by your mother. I can't imagine what that would be like. I mean, Lustra found out his father kept something important from him. Merlin's father has disowned him, and Silash, well, he's Silash.
That's very fair.
He doesn't...
Gestures vaguely to Slash.
Well, no, that's... He... I don't know much about his culture, but to grow up into something like that, I can't imagine it could have been easy.
And supposedly he's one of the good ones.
But I want you to know, I owe Van Richten so much. He gave me back what little time I had with Simon, and the only thing that I had wanted to say to him when I met him was thank you, and that I owe him everything for
returning the other half of myself to me. So, for what it's worth, I am with you, with all of you, completely. We are all going to get out of here. We are going to see our family again, no matter what they mean to us. We deserve to have that choice. And I'm not sure if this is something that other people say, but in Celevest and Splitport, Sevenas Teleth, she says that to all of you. And she says, it means we are all in this together. Does anyone speak Elven?
Not Lenara. Stiletto does.
Excellent.
Nada.
And it means that.
She whispers to you, thank you for translating the procedure. Has taken that language from my mind at the moment. You know what they say about shared trauma, I suppose. I just figured now is the perfect time before we have to survive one heck of a storm. Again. Let's clear the air before it gets filled with lightning.
Well, hopefully it strikes differently this time, huh?
Here's hoping.
Slash sort of, almost, his face twists up for a moment in some sort of uncharacteristic expression. If I must admit, I can be perhaps a bit too clinical for the likes of many, and I like to be precise in identifying everything. And it frustrates me that I do not find some kind of precision in which to explain myself. All I know is that I feel jealousy right now. I feel jealousy of this adoration that Van Richten has. I hate that I enjoy this jealousy. I'm conflicted. It's not something I am familiar with.
Some newfound emotion for Slash. How much fun is that?
That sounds like your human side.
As you,
I want to be popular.
as you guys keep drifting towards what you hope is the edge of the bubble that you know is Dominia, towards the borders you know is the mists. Just kind of, that breeze, keeping your boat steady, the up and down of the swell. A good couple hours passes, enough that if anyone feels like rolling hit die, feel free. If anyone wants to benefit from a short rest,
I'd love to meditate, get my key back.
you are more than welcome to do that. Enough time has also passed. So I'm going to give you the details of this trilby.
Ooh.
Clearly, if you're familiar with the source books, no trilbies show up in the magic item tables. So a bit of a homebrew item here. This is called a badass trilby.
God damn it.
It does require attunement, but if you do attune to this trilby, you get a -5 charisma because only douchebags wear trilbies. Wow. Is that too much? Is that too much?
It is, but it's good.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay.
Tough but fair.
The last thing we need to take care of right now is a perception check from everybody, please.
-5 fucker. That's amazing.
-5 charisma. Because it makes you look like a douche.
I love how it's not cursed. You have to choose to attune to it.
Yeah, it's a choice you make.
It's the choice that removes the charisma. The hat is mundane.
Slash got a natural 20.
Very nice.
And because of stress, that makes it a 20.
Okay.
16.
11.
Oh, I got a -1, 6.
Well, I
feel better about my 8.
20 from Salash.
Yep.
As the day keeps progressing, you guys just bobbing up and down in this ocean, slowly traveling as fast as this sail will carry you towards the edge of this domain of dread. On the northern horizon, you see this ominous, just charcoal black storm cloud just looming over the waters. The space in between those dark clouds and the churning waters on the horizon is just filled with haziness, just everything blurred by the torrential rains that are just pounding into the ocean. The sky on the horizon occasionally lights up with this white electricity as bolts of lightning smash into the waters ahead of you. And although the storm seems only to be on the horizon, already the sail on your boat starts to flap violently as the winds become more erratic. And with each moment that the boat moves forward, these black storm clouds spread wider and wider and wider. And after days of sailing, the stormy border mists of Dominia are finally visible to you. And as you turn your head to see just how far the storm spreads, you notice it disappears out of your view eventually, towards the east and the west. Again, think of Dominia as a bubble. And now you guys are just hours away from the northern edge of that bubble. So to your east and west, you don't see this storm. It's too far away. You're confident it's there, but it's not in your line of sight. Behind you to the south, the horizon is clear. It's peaceful. There's still that gentle swell back there that's spreading out as far back as you can see. And you know that if you were to turn this boat around, 2-3 days of sailing in that direction to the south would bring you back to the asylum and the island of Dominia. But as you're looking back there at the stark change between the north and south, the northern and southern horizons, Slash, you notice something else on the southern horizon. You can see the 2 sails of a double-masted sailing ship traveling in your direction. Sails full of wind. Took a couple days to find you, but the Mercy is on your heels, and the mists are within view, dead ahead.
Oh no.
We'll see you next time.
A boat chase scene. Oh my god.
Into the mists, no less.
We need to increase our speed, Tosh Van Richten.